good evening, my friends. I'm glad you could join me here tonight. There is a cold, bitter wind blowing outside, and snow in these New England streets is certainly piling up. It's certainly a pleasure to come here to these United States and to speak to its fine citizens, especially to enjoy my literary works. Back in December of 1843, I wrote a little novella, A Christmas Carol, a ghost story of Christmas. I'd like to read that to you. Shall I begin? Marley was dead. To begin with, there was no doubt about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, the chief mourner. Scrooge signed it. And Scrooge's name was good upon change for anything he chose to put his hand to. Old Marley was dead as a doornail. He died 7 years ago this very night. Scrooge knew he was dead. Of course he did. How could it otherwise be? Scrooge and his partners, for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole assign, his residual legati, his sole friend, his sole mourner. Scrooge never painted out Marley's name, however, yet it stood, years afterwards, above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Marley. Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Bah, humbug.
Oh, I'm sure you don't mean that, sir.
I do. When I live in such a world of fools as this. Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding yourself a year older but not an hour richer. A time for balancing your books and finding every item in them through a round dozen a month presented dead against you. Merry Christmas. If I could work my will, every idiot with walking around with Merry Christmas on their lips would be boiled with their own pudding and buried with a stick of holly in his heart. He should.
Good evening, Mr. Cratchit. How is Mrs. Cratchit and all the assorted little Cratchits?
Very good, sir.
All chomping at the bit for Christmas to begin, hey?
Yes, all very eager, sir.
And the little lame one, Tim, is it?
Yes, Tim, sir.
How is he?
We're in high hopes that he's getting better, sir. High hopes.
Excellent. Well, Merry Christmas, Mr. Cratchit.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, Uncle!
Oh, bah! What right do you have to be merry? You're poor enough.
What right do you have to be dismal? You're rich enough.
Keep Christmas in your own way, Fred, and I'll keep it in mine.
Keep it. But you don't keep it.
Then let me leave it alone. Much good may it do you.
Christmas is a good, loving, charitable time. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold in my pocket, I believe that Christmas has done me good, so I say, God bless it!
Well said, but I'm
One
sorry.
more word out of you, and you'll be keeping Christmas by losing your job.
I'm sorry, sir.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come dine with us tomorrow.
Bah! Why did you get married anyway?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Good afternoon.
That's a terrible excuse, Uncle. You never came to see me before that happened.
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Am I addressing Mr. Marley?
Sadly, Mr. Marley died 7 years ago this night. How may I help you?
Mr. Scrooge, then. We're here to collect donations for the poor and the destitute.
Welcome! This jolly old gentleman here is Mr. Scrooge, and he's very generous to charities.
My dear nephew.
On this festive time of the year, Mr. Scrooge, we often look out for the poor and the homeless. And we're looking for a donation for the poor and the homeless. What may you do?
Nothing.
You wish to remain anonymous?
I wish to be left alone. I do not make merry myself at Christmas.
That is true.
And I cannot afford to make idle people merry either.
That certainly is not true.
Don't you have somewhere else to be, my dear nephew?
Sadly, Uncle, I do. So therefore I leave you with my donation.
Thank you very much.
I leave you to make yours. Are you sure you don't want to come and have Christmas with me and Clara tomorrow?
Bah!
I'm sorry to see you so determined, Uncle, but I'll keep my humor to the last. Merry Christmas.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon.
Merry Christmas, Fred.
And a Merry Christmas to you too, Bob.
About that donation?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
There are plenty of them. I wish there were not.
For a moment there, gentlemen, I was getting concerned. I pay good money to support those establishments I just mentioned, and those that are badly off must go there.
Some have, but rather die.
If they'd rather die, then let them, and decrease the surplus population.
Oh dear, dear, dear.
That is the door. You may use it.
Come on, my friend. We've taken it up on Mr. Scrooge's time.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Good evening. Merry Christmas.
Meanwhile, the fog and darkness thickened so that people ran about with flaring links, proffering their services to go before horses and carriages and conduct them on their way. The ancient tower of a church, whose gruff old bell was always peeping slyly down at Scrooge out a Gothic window in the wall, became invisible and struck the hours and quarters in the clouds, with tremulous vibrations afterwards, as if its teeth were chattering up in its frozen head. The cold became intense. Scrooge glances at the church tower. Time to shut up the counting house. With an ill will, Scrooge dismounts from his stool and nods to Bob Cratchit, who instantly snuffs his candle out.
I suppose you'll be wanting the whole day tomorrow, then.
If it would be convenient, sir.
It is not convenient. If I were to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used. But you don't think me ill-used when I pay a whole day's salary for no work.
But it's Christmas. It comes once a year.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Still, I suppose you should have the whole day. Make sure you're here all the earlier the next morning.
I will, I promise.
Scrooge took his melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern, and having read all the newspapers and beguiled the rest of the evening with the banker's book, went home to bed. He lived in chambers which once belonged to his deceased partner, Jacob Marley. They were a gloomy suite of rooms. It was old enough now and dreary enough for Mr. Scrooge. For no one had lived there but Mr. Scrooge. The fog and the frost hung so about the black gateway of the old house, as if it seemed the genius of weather sat mournfully in meditation on its threshold. Having placed his key in the lock, Scrooge saw the knocker. Without it undergoing any immediate process of change, but not a knocker, but Molly's face. A moment later, the face was gone. Scrooge paused and looked cautiously behind the door, as if he half expected to see Molly sticking out the other side. But there's nothing on the back of the door except the screws and nuts that hold the knocker to the door. Up the stairs Scrooge went, not caring to button of what he saw. Doctors is cheap. And Scrooge liked it. But before he shut the heavy door, he walked through his rooms to see if everything was all right. He had just enough recollection of the face to desire to do that. Scrooge retires to bed with another thought of Molly.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Okay, who were you then?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley. You do not believe in me. Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing can affect them. A slight disorder of the stomach can make them cheat. You might just be a bit of undigested beef, that's all. Yeah, that's it. There's probably more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Humbug, I tell you! Humbug! Oh, dreadful apparition, why do you trouble me?
I am doomed to wander the world. Oh, woe is me!
You are
fettered. Tell me, why?
I wear the chains I forged in life, link by link and yard by yard. Is this pattern strange to you? You wear one similar to it, though yours was as heavy and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. And I think you have worked on it since.
Speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. I am here tonight to warn you. You have yet a chance to escape my fate. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I think I'd really rather not.
Expect the first when the bell tolls 1.
Can I take them all at once? You know, get them over with?
Expect the second when the bell tolls 2, and the third when the bell tolls 3. For your own sake, you remember what has passed between us.
Scrooge went to bed and thought and thought and thought it over and over. Could make nothing of it. The more he thought, the more perplexed he was, and the more he endeavored not to think. Marley's ghost bothered Scrooge exceedingly. Every time he resolved himself within, after mature inquiry, that is, it was all a dream. His mind flew back again, like a strong spring released to its first position, and presented the same problem to be worked through all over again. Was it not a dream? Scrooge lay in this state until the chime had gone 3/4 more, when he remembered, all of a sudden, that the ghost had warned him of visitation when the bell tolled 1. He resolved to lie awake until the hour passed, and considered he could do no more than sleep, than go to heaven, that was, perhaps, the wisest resolution to his power.
Are you, madam, the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
Your past.
What business do you have here?
Your reclamation. Take heed. Rise and walk with me.
Spirit, it's the middle of the night. It's freezing out. I'm mortal and I'm liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
Spirit, what is that bright light? It cannot be the dawn.
It is the past.
And so they arrived in Scrooge's childhood. It was the afternoon of Christmas Eve, and Scrooge was conscious of 1,000 odors, each one connected with 1,000 thoughts, hopes, joys, long forgotten.
This is my old school. I was a boy here. That's Henry. And over there, it's Edmund, my best friend. Hello, boys. Hello.
These are but shadows of your past. They can neither see nor hear you. Have a look.
And what a flood of memories came back to him as Scrooge beheld his old classroom.
I remember it so well. Those desks, the smell of the chalk. Did you know I chose my profession here?
Is he too familiar?
Scrooge beheld a small boy in the classroom, a boy he knew very well indeed.
Why, it's me. I was always alone. More time for studying and reading. The Christmas holidays were a particularly good time to get in a little extra work. A time for solitude.
Let us see another Christmas in this place.
It really doesn't matter. They were pretty much the same. Nothing ever changed.
You changed.
The years performed their terrible dance, and in a moment, Scrooge had seen his entire life would pass. He saw his old school age and decay. A moment later, Scrooge found himself standing on a city street, looking at a building he hadn't seen in years.
Know it?
Know it? I apprenticed here. Why, it's Fezziwig's Christmas ball.
Remember, Ebenezer, these are but shadows of your past. They have no consciousness of us. Such a silly matter to make people so full of gratitude.
Silly?
Yes. Fezziwig has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money. Is it so much that he deserves this praise?
Oh, it's not that, Spirit. He has the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service a pleasure or a toil. Why, the happiness he gives is quite as great as if he had spent a fortune.
What is it?
Nothing in particular.
Something, I think.
No, I would just like a chance to talk to my clerk right now, that's all.
Dusk has fallen, and the lamplighter's at work. It's Christmas Eve for sure.
What an employer he was. As harsh and as ruthless as a rose petal.
For this annual time now, I will make my speech.
Oh, please, no more speeches.
For you, Belle.
Look, it's Jacob Marley, my old partner as a lad.
Excuse me, Mr. Fezziwig.
Excuse me?
Yes, I've been going over these accounts. Do you have any idea how much money we're spending for this party?
Master Scrooge, it's Christmas. Stop working. We'll have a good time. Go ahead now. Go ahead. Belle, these annual parties that we have, I hold them twice a year.
Excuse me again, Mr. Fezziwig, but...
Master Scrooge. Oh, I'm sorry. Belle, I want to introduce you to Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer, this is Belle, one of our financial minds of all the city.
Pleased to meet you.
Mistletoe.
I'm glad you finally two had met. Yes.
Do you remember this meeting?
Remember it? Yes, I remember it.
There was, of course, another Christmas with this young lady.
Oh, no, Spirit, please don't show me that Christmas.
Ebenezer, Bella's waiting for you outside.
Another year before our wedding, Ebenezer?
It can't be helped, Belle. There's barely enough money for a decent home. The investments haven't grown as they should.
As you said last year.
Business continues to be poor
But you're a partner in your own firm now.
and barely making expenses.
You said partnership was the goal.
But I love you, Belle.
You used to. It matters little to you now. Very little. Another idol has displaced me. If it could comfort you in time to come, as I would have done so, it leaves me little just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one. You fear the world too much. Our engagement is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so. It was made when you were another man.
Have I ever sought release from our engagement?
In words? No, never.
Then, in what?
In changed nature. If our love was not ours, tell me, would you seek me out if I try to win me now? I think not. And so that is why I'm releasing you. For the love of the man you once were.
Go. Go after her. Spirit, show me no more. Why do you delight in torturing me?
I told you. These are but the shadows of the things that have been. That they are what they are. Do not blame me, Ebenezer.
Then remove me. Haunt me no longer. I cannot bear any more.
In the middle of a difficult snore, Scrooge awakens with a start and sits up in bed. He lights a candle and looks around. His bedside clock reads 5 minutes to 2. Marley's ghost had warned Scrooge that a second spirit would haunt him at the stroke of 2. I don't mind telling you that Scrooge was now prepared for a good broad field of strange appearances. By this time, he was ready for almost anything. But you see, he was not by any means ready for nothing, and nothing was exactly what happened. After a lengthy pause, Scrooge sighs, and with one last look around, he lies down in bed.
Scrooge! Come in, Scrooge! Come in and know me better, man! Ha ha ha! I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me! You have never seen the likes of me, have you?
No, never.
Have you not walked forth with my brothers born in these past years?
I don't think so. Do you have many brothers, Spirit?
Approximately 1,842.
That's quite a large family to provide for. Okay, Spirit, conduct me where you will. If you're here to teach me, let me profit by it.
Come touch my robe.
Spirit, why have we come to this odd corner of the town?
It's Christmas here too, you know.
It's Bob Cratchit's house.
Merry Christmas, girls. Merry Christmas, Peter.
And how was little Tim in church today?
Oh, as good as gold and better. On the way home, he said that he hoped everyone in the church saw him. He said because he is crippled, it would be good for them to remember on Christmas Day who it was that made the blind see and the lame walk.
A remarkable child.
The goose is cooked. Goose!
How much of a goose?
Oh, I've never seen such a delicious or tender goose.
And big.
And cheap.
It's lovely, Mother.
Thank you, Tim.
Merry Christmas to us all, and God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Such a meager feast.
But a very much appreciated one.
I pay Bob so little.
Oh, Mr. Scrooge.
Bob? Bob Cratchit?
To Mr. Scrooge, the founder of this feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind, and I'd hope he'd have an appetite for it.
In front of the children on Christmas.
It should be Christmas, yes, on which one drinks to the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling...
To Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
To Mr. Scrooge.
To Mr. Scrooge, yes. He'll be very merry and very happy, I've no doubt.
Tell me, Spirit, will Tiny Tim live?
My realm is in the present, but I do see a vacant seat by the chimney corner and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved.
Oh, no, Spirit, no.
I fear none other of my kind will see him here.
Spirit, please. It's Fred's. My dear nephew, Fred. And his wife, Clara. Look, they're having Christmas with friends.
He said that Christmas was a humbug, and I'll live. He believed it too.
Well, more shame for him, Fred.
He's a comical old fellow, however. I have nothing ill to say against him, but he who suffers by ill-worms suffers by himself always. Well, we've had the plum pudding and sung the carols. Now what, my lovelies?
A game, Fred!
Yes, we must have games on Christmas.
Do they play games at Christmas?
I love games.
Let's play yes and no.
Yes, a wonderful game.
Yes, it is.
A great game, albeit.
Yes, let Fred be it. He always thinks of good ones.
I do have a good one, Clara. Guess.
Is it vegetable?
No.
Is it a mineral?
No.
Is it animal then?
What else?
What else indeed?
Is it on a farm?
Never.
Is it in a city?
Usually.
Does it pull a handsome cab?
Certainly not.
How about a dog?
No.
It's a cat.
A cat.
I said it first.
No.
Wait, is it an unwanted creature?
Often.
A mouse?
No.
A rat?
A cockroach.
No.
A leech.
Oh dear, it's too wonderful.
Wait, I think I found it out. I think I've got it, Fred.
Do you?
An unwanted creature does not a rat, a cockroach, or a leech.
Then what?
Then what?
It's your Uncle Scrooge!
Yes!
Wonderful.
Yes, that's a good one.
Come, my time goes short.
No more. I wish to see no more. Spirit, your hair, it's gray. Are spirits' lives so short?
My life is brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight? But Spirit, I've learned so much from you.
Tonight at midnight, my time with you is over, Ebenezer Scrooge.
No, Spirit, you've meant so much to me. You have changed me.
Will you profit from what I have shown you of the good in most men's hearts?
Oh, I don't know. How can I promise?
If it's too hard a lesson for you to learn, then learn this lesson. Oh man, look down here.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are man's, and they cling to me, repelling from their fathers. This boy is ignorance, this girl is want. Beware them both, but most of all, beware the boy, for ignorance will be man's doom.
Have they no refuge or resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Tell me, what of Tiny Tim?
He's better off to die and decrease the surplus population.
Stop, you mock me with my own words.
Who are you to decide who shall live and who shall die? If these shadows are unaltered by the future, the boy will die.
No, Spirit, tell me, what must I do? What must I do?
I shall leave you with the ghost of Christmas yet to come.
You mean the future? Do I have to?
Go forth and know him better, man.
The last of the spirits. Am I in the presence of the spirit of Christmas yet to be? You are about to show me shadows of things that have not yet happened, but will happen in the time before us. Is that right, Spirit? Oh, Spirit of the future, I fear you more than any specter I have seen. But as I know your purpose is to do me good, I will bear your company and do it with a thankful heart. Will you not speak to me? Fine. Lead on, Spirit. Lead on. I know it is precious time to me now. Yes, I know these gentlemen. Business associates.
Don't know exactly what happened. All I know is that he's dead.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
How? I didn't know anything was wrong with him. I never thought he'd die.
God only knows.
What did he do with his money?
I'm not sure. Probably gave it to his company. All I know is they didn't give it to me.
It's likely to be a cheap funeral. On the life of me, I don't know anyone to go. Suppose we make a party and volunteer.
I'd go, only if they feed me, no.
Yes, well, out of all of us, I seem to be the most disinterested party, for you see, I never wear black gloves, and of course, never ate lunch. But it would seem I would be his most particular friend, as it were. For you see, every time we passed in the street, we did stop to chat for a minute.
You know, Spirit, I'm surprised you should place such importance on conversations that seem so trivial. Okay, well, there must be some hidden meaning in it, otherwise you wouldn't have shown it to me Is that right, Spirit? Well, let's see. It can't have anything to do with the death of my partner, Jacob Marley. That was in the past, and this is the future. You know, I just realized this is my custom street corner, and I don't... And by the clock on the wall, I see this is my custom time for being here. But I don't see any likeness of me anywhere. That's not a surprise, you see, because I've been thinking that, well, actually kind of hoping that I would be showing a change of heart and maybe things could be a little bit different for... Okay.
So, back from the House of Sadness, I see.
Look here, old Joe. Here's a chance. If we haven't all three met here without meaning it.
Couldn't have picked a better spot. So, what have you got to sell?
Half a minute's patience, Joe, and you shall see.
What odds, then? Every person's got to take care of themselves. He always did.
No, indeed, ma'am.
No. Who's the worst for the loss of a few items like these, Not a dead man, I suppose.
No, indeed, ma'am.
No.
Sad that he didn't die years ago. The old miser.
Oh, here, here.
Well, let me see. What have you got for old Joe, eh?
Joe.
What have you got for him to remember him by?
Joe, get off.
Open the bundle, old Joe. Let me know the value of it. Speak out plain. I'm not afraid to be the first, nor afraid for them to see it. You may look through the shirt until your eyes ache, but you won't find a hole in it. It's the best he had. They'd have wasted it by dressing him in it. If it hadn't been for me, I got the collar buttons off the dresser.
Mother of pearl, very nice! What we got next? What do you call those?
I got his bed curtains. Very fine.
Very cheap, but worth a few coins.
Well now, I've got his blankets.
His blankets?
Why, Mrs. Dilbert, they're still warm.
I don't imagine that he'll be taking cold anytime soon.
I don't pay extra for the warmth, you know.
Oh, you should. It's the only warmth he's ever had.
The color hurts my eyes. It makes it weak by candlelight. I wouldn't want to show weak eyes to your father when he gets home for the world. It's about his time.
Past is rather. But I think he's walked a little slower than he used these past few evenings, brother.
I've known him to walk with Tim upon his shoulders quite fast indeed.
Yes, offices. And so have I.
But he was very light. Your father loved him. He was no bother. No bother at all. There's your father at the door.
I wish that you could have gone with me. It would have done you good to see how green the place is. But you will. I promised him that we'd go there one Sunday. My little child. Little child.
Tell me, Spirit, who was that man we heard being spoken of before? Answer me this. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or only the shadows of things that might be? Oh no, Spirit, no! Hear me. I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I would have been but for this intervention. Why show me these images if I am beyond all hope? Good Spirit, pity me. Assure me that I may change these shadows. I will keep Christmas in my heart and keep it all year long. Spirit, tell me that I may sponge away the images on these stones. I'm back. I'm alive. I don't believe it. The past, the present, the future, the spirits of all three will live within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and Christmas time be praised for this. I tell you, old Jacob, on my knees, those shadows of the past will be dispelled. They will be. They will be. Oh, I don't know what to do first. You, sir. What day is this?
Why, it's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day, I haven't missed it. They've done it all in one night. The spirits can do anything they want. Of course they can, of course they can. Tell me, do you know the poulterers down the street, around the corner?
Yes.
Do they still have that prize turkey? The big one, not the really little one, but the big one?
You mean the one about the size of that young boy over there?
Oh, come on, man, a remarkable man. Yes, do they still have it?
It's hanging in the shop right now.
Do me a favor. Go down and buy it and bring it back here. Come back in 10 minutes and I'll give you half a crown.
I will.
Come back in 5 minutes and I'll double it.
Excellent.
Oh, I don't know what to do first. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as a schoolboy. I'm as merry as an angel. Oh, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everyone. And a Happy New Year to the whole world. So there you are, Bob Cratchit.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Merry Christmas indeed. You weren't at work this morning like we discussed.
But you said I could have the whole day off, remember?
The whole day? The whole day? Does that sound like me?
No, I mean, yes, sir, I mean...
Now, I'll tell you what, my friend. You leave me no choice. I won't stand for this any longer. Therefore, I'm going to raise your salary! A Merry Christmas, Bob. A Merry Christmas that I've given you for many of these years. Listen, Bob. I really am going to raise your salary. And if you'd let me, I'd like to help you take care of your family. Tell you what, we'll talk this over tomorrow afternoon with a Christmas bowl of smoking bishop. Merry Christmas to everyone.
And Scrooge kept his word. In fact, he was better than that. He did much, much more. And Tiny Tim, he did not die. In fact, Scrooge became a second father, as good a friend, as good a man, as a good city has ever known.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hope you enjoyed the show. And on behalf of Mr. Dickens and the cast of The Christmas Carol, we'd all like to wish you a Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Ho, ho, ho!